The gentleman from Rhode Island, Mr. Magaziner, for 5 minutes of questions.
Mr. Lyons, has ICE hired anyone who is charged with a crime related to the January 6th riot here at the Capitol?
Sir, I don't have that information, but I would say no.
Could you find out and please report back?
Yes, sir, I'll get that. I'll take that as a get
Would
back.
you hire someone who attacked police officers here on January 6th, even though they were unfortunately pardoned by the president?
Sir, we take assault on law enforcement very serious, and we have a good, strenuous vetting program. I'm
All right,
sure.
thank you. Commissioner Scott, how many of your agents have been disciplined for excessive use of force over the past year?
I cannot comment on ongoing or
I'm not asking you to
current
comment on
personnel
specific
action.
investigation. How many of your agents have been disciplined? I'm just asking for the total.
I'll
for
get that
excessive
number
force.
to you. I don't have it in front of me.
All right, I sent you a letter asking that question and haven't received a response. Will you commit to sending a response to me, please?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'd like you to view this video. This incident?
Yes.
Okay. Now, this is a family of United States citizens who were out to get groceries at a Sam's Club in Chicago. When they arrived, they could see that there was a chaotic operation in the parking lot. They turned their vehicle to leave, at which point your agents sprayed pepper spray out of their vehicle and into the driver's side window of the Verrazas family vehicle. Is it proper procedure to aim pepper spray into the window of a moving vehicle?
I'm not familiar. I don't have all the details on this. It's an ongoing
I'm not asking about
investigation, but to
just-
answer your specific question,
Is it proper
we try
procedure?
to avoid that. No, it's not.
Try to avoid it. Because you understand it's dangerous, right? Not just for the driver, but for pedestrians, for other people who could be hit by a car if a driver is blinded, right?
I 100% understand that, but you're talking about intentional versus not intentional.
Well, now listen.
I've been in a
I mean,
vehicle
from the
in one of
video-
these situations.
Scott,
that
reclaiming
got
my
pepper
time.
spray
From the
in my
video,
own
this
face.
was clearly intentional, and you know as well as I do that in any other law enforcement agency, if an officer did this, they would be put on leave, investigated, and likely disciplined. Were any of your agents ever investigated or disciplined for this incident?
I'll have to get back to you on this incident. I believe it's still an
So you don't
ongoing
know.
investigation, but we have at least
I'd like
10
to show
open
you
cases.
another video. This one is from Minneapolis. So as you can see, the agent sprayed pepper spray at close range directly into the face of an individual who had already been pinned to the ground by 3 other agents. And there's a picture of this behind me to give you a better view. Is this proper procedure for the use of pepper spray?
I cannot comment on that because you're only showing one piece, and that subject
Has
is
this
clearly
agent
not
been
compliant.
investigated? But this is not the intended use of this weapon, correct?
The intended use is to try to avoid escalating. It's to de-escalate
All
the
right.
situation. And
Well,
get
he was
the
already pinned to the
individual
ground by
comply.
3 other agents. I think he had been de-escalated. Is there any investigation into this agent for doing this?
I'll get back to you. There are several open investigations.
All right, listen, there has been no accountability in your agency under the Trump administration. None. Your agency has repeatedly been caught on tape using unnecessary violence against civilians, and you can't even tell me if any of these agents have been investigated or disciplined. You are supposed to be making people safer, and instead, your agents are being unnecessarily violent. And that is why the Trump administration has lost the trust of the American people on immigration. Understand, it's not just the actions of the agents in the field, it is the lack of accountability from the top that has caused public trust to erode. And there need to be major reforms before we vote to give any of you any more funding. Your agencies need to act like other law enforcement agencies. Take off the masks, wear badge numbers, enforce discipline with real standards of conduct. But accountability starts at the top. Kristi Noem is completely unfit and should be removed from office. And all of the operations that we just watched were overseen by Commander Gregory Bavino, who himself engaged in excessive use of force. He even admitted that he lied to a federal judge when he claimed he had been hit by a rock prior to throwing a tear gas canister at a crowd of civilians. But then after the footage came out, and that turned out to be not true, he admitted that he had lied about it. Mr. Scott, what disciplinary action do you plan to take against Mr. Bavino?
I cannot comment on personnel actions on any.
Is there an investigation underway or being considered And to Mr. Bavino?
Every allegation and every use of force is fully investigated within
Please
DHS.
investigate him.
Goes through a
You
review
need
board.
to
and then
start
Gentlemen's-
enforcing discipline. in
Gentleman's
your
time
agency.
has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Strong, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chairman Garbarino, Ranking Member Thompson, and thank you to all our witnesses for being here today. Let me start with the simple facts. The border is now closed. Fentanyl poisonings are down by more than 35%. I thank each of you for your service to our country. I remember in April of 23 when then Secretary Mayorkas testified before this very committee that the U.S. border was, and I quote, secure, close quote, and not open. At the same time, under his leadership, illegal alien population surged to over 11 million. They were coming from more than 160 different countries as migrants were released into our country by the millions. That's what the Biden administration, in concert with Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, did to America. They sold America out. The consequences of their failures were predictable. When the United States failed to enforce its border, the winners are not legal immigrants or American communities. It's the cartels, drug smugglers, human traffickers, and violent criminals. We didn't need new laws to stop this crisis. We needed a president willing to enforce the laws already on the books. President Trump did exactly that. Another promise made, another promise kept. And today, the number of illegal aliens being released into our country is zero. Zero. That's what it took a president to make the hard decisions, and America is better because of it. So my question is straightforward. Commissioner Scott, was Secretary Mayorkas telling the truth when he testified before this committee that the border was secure?
Consistent with my prior testimony, no, he was not.
As you stated earlier, the underlying immigration laws haven't fundamentally changed in decades. What has changed is how different administrations choose to enforce these laws, particularly during the previous administration. It was 100% orchestrated to allow illegal aliens to invade our country under the Biden administration. From an operational standpoint, how important is consistency and enforcement for deterrence and border control?
It's extremely important, and we keep talking about immigration, but let me remind people, border security really is national security. The cartels use illegal immigration to literally overwhelm law enforcement at the border and bring in all kinds of other threats. It's the second wave that always is the most critical. The Interior Enforcement sent a message around the world that we're not going to just let you go. It took away the marketing ability of the cartels to get people to come to the border and overwhelm law enforcement. This all works together. It's critically important because it is national security.
Thank you, Commissioner. The men and women of DHS deserve our respect and the ability to do their job effectively without mixed signals from Washington. I also want to be clear, I support the men and women who work every day to secure our borders and enforce federal immigration laws. But lately, we've seen growing strain on political rhetoric that goes beyond policy disagreement and targets the legitimacy of law enforcement itself. Rhetoric that puts a target on the backs of agents doing their jobs. Acting Director Lyons, we keep hearing calls from left-wing politicians to abolish ICE. Some, including many who should know better, have denounced federal law enforcement as secret police. How would you respond to these reckless attacks?
Sir, I can speak from personal experience, having served multiple administrations that the men and women of ICE are out there every day doing the law as it's written.
What are the consequences of not enforcing federal immigration laws?
Sir, if you look at what ICE has done, if you look at the amount of, as I said earlier, the amount of known and suspected terrorists that we removed from the country, we arrested 1,477 this year and removed 1,480. Just that impact alone, along with the 7,800 gang members, makes a significant impact on public safety and national security.
Thank you. Turning to you, Director Edlow, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service plays a role in administering legal immigration and protecting the integrity of the system. When immigration enforcement is undermined or treated as illegitimate, how does that affect USCIS's ability to manage lawful pathways, prevent fraud, and maintain public confidence in the legal immigration process?
It makes it absolutely impossible, Congressman, and that's why we've done everything we can to administer that system now and to not cut corners that were previously cut during the last administration.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. I now recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman. 5 minutes of questions.